Good evening, guys. Hope you people are doing very good. And thank you so much for watching my part 1 Pandas series. Right now, this video is basically for the part 2 of the Pandas series. In the part 1 series, I already explained how the function is working. And basically in this video, this part 2 video, I will be concentrating how we can fetch the data, and on that database basically how we can implement those things practically. We will learn practical implementation of the previous series. So before seeing this part 2 videos, guys, please see the part 1, then it will be more helpful for your understanding. So let's start about the same way in the pandas, how we can import that one. We can write down the import pandas as pd, and after that I run that one. Then we already import the pandas in my local system. Then if I write down pwd and run that query, so this query basically gives the directory or the location of this file, this pandas file. So if you want to know any file's location, if you just write down this pwd, that will give you the location. Then I just import the OS. Then I just take one variable, that is the student11 is equal to pd.read_exl. That basically help you to import any Excel file in your local system. And this one within first bracket, in yellow color first bracket, I am giving the location of this test file location. And after that I just run that student11. If I run that one, then I can see this file is already imported. Where the file it is, please check that one, guys. In my PyData notes within pandas, test file is there. This is the basically the test file, and in this test file you can see id, name, subject and marks, these are there. So to import this file, what I can do, that I just write down pd.exl, then I just give the location of this file, and then in this way we can just import the file in our local system. Then .head function basically by default that gives the 5 output. If I run that program, by default they are taking that first 5 row here. If I want to take the 2 rows, if I just pass 2, then they will give the 2, and if I need more than 5, if I just pass 6, then they will give the 6 rows. So just remember, .head function and .tail function basically by default they are passing the 5 values. In case if we need extra of the 5, then we have to pass it here, and if we need less than 5, we can just pass the number 2 or 3, whatever you want. Then this function will help you to fetch the data, that much of the data on your system. I already explained that one, that I just passed the 4, and then that system that gives the 4 rows in here. Now I'm just passing the another file, that pd.readexl. I am just giving the test file location here. This is the basically the location of that file, text file. Then I just pass the name is equal to a, b, c, d, and skip double is equal to 2. That means I am just taking all the rows a, b, c, d, a, b, c, d, but I will not interested to take the row number 2. So if I run that program, you can see here that I am just getting a, b, c, d, and the row number 2, basically this row, Andrew and chemistry, this row is already skipped from here. So if I want to skip the first row, that this Andrew and the chemistry, this one, or the Sam English, suppose I am taking and this row, I do not want this row. So in that case, if I just skip row in place, in skip row is equal to 0, if I'm just run the program, you can see that 0 position of the row that is already deleted, that is not taken in my local system. Now I am taking the another file, that FIFA is equal to, FIFA is the variable name. The variable name, it can be anything, A, B, C, D, whatever you like, any fruit name, any friend's name, it doesn't matter. Then pd.read underscore CSV. Earlier I see that read underscore EXL file, just import the Excel file, and read underscore CSV, basically that helps to import the CSV file, that FIFA data.csv file. If I just run that query, then that query and just run that FIFA, then I can see that FIFA file, that CSV file already it is imported in here. And this file, this FIFA file, I already have this FIFA World Cup file, I already have in my folder, in PyData folder, in the Pandas folder. So this file, how we can import that one, I already told you there. I just write down pd.read underscore CSV, then I just give the location of this file, CSV file. Now, if I want to check, this is a huge data set. So in the industry, you cannot get the good data set. The data set, there will be so many missing value will be there, there will be the data is mistaken, so anything it can be happen. So if you want to check is there any missing value on that proper data set or not, so is null function basically help you to find out is there anything null value or the missing value or not. If I run the program, we can see the function will give you the boolean value. Boolean value means true or the false. In here, I just need to understand whether that is the missing value or not. In case is there any missing value, so in that place, and they will write down the true. In the naked eye, we are not able to see in the true, because suppose we have the 1 lakh data set in the industry when you will be working as a data science engineer, or when you are just going to cleaning your data, so you are not just seeing that where the true is there, where the null value is there. So in that case, dot sum function will help you to count where the basically missing value exactly located in your total data set. So I just write down the pivot dot is null dot sum function. This dot sum function, if I run that program, you can see, and then this column GK handling, GK kicking, on this column name, and this much of total value is missing from your total or the raw data set. Basically dot sum function is just give you the total count where the number is missing. Then you can see that in the I already explained about how to import your Excel file and the CSV file, but guys, remember, through giving the HTML, this is the location of the internet. If you are giving this location directly in this variable, in URL variable, if you are just passing this URL, then just write down the response is equal to request.get, get what we want to get, this URL dot comma verify is equal to true, and after that I just response is equal to raise underscore for underscore status, and we just passed it through the bb underscore data variable is equal to pd.read html, then response.text, and then we just print out this one. In this way also we can directly fetch the data from this URL. So guys, please check this URL. Please, I just copy this URL in here, and then I just give this URL in the Google. Suppose in Google I am just giving this URL, then you can see guys, this is the data set on this web page, RK player, age, team, PSG, GS. So this data set also we can directly from the internet as well by giving the URL, this URL. So if we are just passing this URL, then we can just read it, then we can get this response. So see, this total data set is passed here. Now the function, it comes the iLock function. In the last video I already explained what is the lock and what is the iLock. Lock is basically just taking the exact name of the row or the column. They are taking the team is basically they will identify this one, and by write down the 1 or 2 they will take these rows. But in the iLock, I stands for index. I stand for index. So this is the basic difference between lock and iLock function. So in here, I'm just taking the 0, I'm just bb underscore data, the 0 I'm passing dot iLock is equal to 1 is to 5, means they will take in the iLock function, iLock they are giving the index. But when we are just taking the index, basically the first point, this is the row, this position is basically the row, so they will take the first index till fourth index because fifth is excluded, and this 3 is to 6, this is basically the column position. They will start from the third till fifth position. So now you can see here in C here, they will take the first, second, third and fourth position, and first, second, third, fourth, and that third to sixth column. Which one is the third to sixth? 0th, first, second, third. This is third, fourth, fifth. Team, pause and G. This data set they will pick it. See the team, pause and G. In this way we can just fetch the data from our raw data set. If our data set, I have the 1 lakh of the row and the column, if I need the particular 10 or the 5 row and the 5 columns, or the 10 rows or 10 columns, in such a way we can just filter it. And then how we can read the file, CSV file. Again, I'm just taking the one Titanic dataset. Basically, this dataset, guys, don't be worried about that. Whatever the dataset, I'm just taking it. I am taking it from the Kaggle or from the Hugging Face. You just type down this Titanic dataset download. You will directly take the dataset from there, and you can just download in your local system. And after downloading that one, so you just guys remember pd.read_csv. This is the function. If that file is the CSV file, then you have to write down the read_csv. If it is the Excel file, then you just write down pd.read_exl. Then from your system, local system, just copy your path of that location of that particular file or the folder. Then you just pass it here, and you just pass it here. And after that, I just use it, comma, sep is equal to within single inverted comma. I use comma because all the dataset will be separated from the commas. Then if I run that program, then we can see that we just import the Titanic dataset from your local system to your Python environment. So let's see that what is the Titanic dataset. In here you can see Titanic dataset FIFA tips, Pandas notes. Okay, I have the Titanic dataset in my download file. I am just downloading this Titanic dataset in here. This is the file, Titanic.csv. This is the file. I just open this file because guys, you just remember that before 100 years ago approximately, the Titanic, the great ship, it was just drowned into the sea, and this dataset, it becomes right now the data science experiment, or we can experiment through the dataset as a ML engineer. So there are some columns. What are the columns? So we have some passenger ID. So through that passenger ID, that is the unique value, that in survived column, you can see we are using the 0 and 1. 0 is basically not survived, they are the expired, and 1 is basically the survived. These two are there. P class, they are in the Titanic ship. There are 3 classes, 1, 2, 3. So they are using here. So name of the customers who are just traveled by that ship, these are the customer name. Sex is whether they are the male, female, so that is written there, and their age is there. Sibling means how many persons they have with them. Then ticket number is also mentioned there, and according to the P class, they have their different values, and which cabin they are using it. And embarked basically means from the which locations they are actually taking the ship. So this is basically the total concept of the data, and after that, how we can fetch the data and how we can work on that, let's see about that. So we can just fetch the data by using that pd.read csv. Then we are just giving the location of that csv file, and then we just print out the Titanic underscore train this variable. And after that, if we run that one, then we already fetch that whole data set in my local system. Then I want to check that how many columns are there. So in this variable Titanic underscore train, I just use dot columns. If I just write down the dot columns, if I run that program, you can see that this much of columns is present in the whole data set. This much of columns are present in the whole data set. You can have a look, you can cross check it whether this give the right information or not. Then I suppose I do not need all the column names. Suppose I need the name and sex, that which kind of persons they traveled by the ship. And if I need this 2 column, so I just pass out this variable Titanic underscore train. Then within 2 square bracket, I am using 2 square bracket because in the last video I already discussed that if we want to use the data frame, basically data frame always have 2 square bracket. So within 2 square bracket, I am passing with it double inverted comma name column comma sex column. So if I run that program, then we already got the name and sex. What are the name? The which already present in the total data set. All the name and the sex. These are the sex. All the data will be fetched by this way. Suppose if you need any other ticket size or the fare, if you pass those columns in here, so then those data set will be coming here. Now I am just taking the name column. And what is this kind of name? What is the type of the data set of this name? So we just use it type Titanic underscore train this variable. Then I just pass one within one single square bracket name. So if I run that one, that is basically series. Why it is series? I always told you that if you see the one single inverted comma is one single third bracket is there, or the square bracket is there, in that case the data type is the series. But if there is 2 square brackets, so in that case the data type will be data frame. Now this is the two square bracket is there. So basically this is the perfect example of the data frame. So suppose by default the head function already give you the by default the 5 rows of every data set. If I need more, if I pass, suppose I need the 10 rows, if I just pass the 10 within head, then that will give you the 10 rows 0 1 2 3 4 till 9th. And here, so what is that? I already told you that if there is the 2 square bracket, if I just check the type, which kind of data set it is the basically data frame. So blindly you can trust that if there is 2 square bracket, that is the data frame. If there is 1 square bracket, that is series. But guys, remember, if there is one variable name, I am not using the p class and I am using 2 square bracket, in that case also that will be the data frame. So one single column, it can be data frame or series, but series always have the 1 column, but data frame, the 1 column, that can be the data frame. More than 1, of course it will be the data frame, but in that both the cases the 2 square bracket will be there. Then we are just checking the data type. Which kind of the data type it used in this data set. So we already have 3 kind of data set in the whole Titanic data set. Which kind of data set is there? There are used the integer, then there are used the string value, that is called the object, and the float. These 3 kind of the data set is used. So if I just want to fetch the object, so I am just passing Titanic underscore train dot data type is double is equal to object. This is the condition. What is the condition? Whenever they are just getting the object, they are just write down the true, and the rest of the place they will write down the false. So you can see name and sex, that is the object. So that's why they are giving the true, and ticket, that is true, and the embarked and cabin, these 2 column are the object. From where you can just cross check, wherever it is object is there, they are just giving the true, and rest of the things integer and float, they will just write down false. Basically they are giving the boolean output. Then if you just pass within a variable titanic underscore train dot data type, titanic underscore train dot data type is equal to double is equal to object dot index, and after that I just write down the a and print a, then we can see wherever the object variable is there, that particularly column, that basically column is passed and the filter here. So suppose in a whole data set I need only the object column, then I can get it here. If I pass the integer, and then in that case int integer, so in that case they will pass whatever the integer column it is there, it will be there. So in such a way we can filter according to the data type as well. And dot describe function, what is this? Dot describe function is basically give you the mean, median, mode and standard deviation, then 25%, 50%, 75%. This kind of the calculation, mathematical calculation is basically gives. You do not need to write down different of the mathematical formulas. If you just write down dot describes, it will help you to understand that these things. So in here there are some object value. So in that case what they are doing, they just count it, they just count how many male, how many female it is present in the data set, they are just giving here. And in this case what I just told you right now, dot describe function, basically they are just count it, they are just mean, standard deviation, mean, then 25% value, 50% value and the 70% value of the total data set. Basically this function is working on the float and the integer value. So if suppose you have the different type of data set, suppose you have the hotel data set, and suppose how many bill is present, how many persons they are giving the tips, and how many bill is payment by the cash or card, and what is the percentage of the total customers. So in that particular data set, it is basically if you just write down that data set dot describe, in that function you will automatically get all the calculation, how many, what is the average, what is the mean, what is the standard deviation, and how many percent, the 20% of the and 70% of the 50% of the data set and the 70% of data set, and maximum value. It will help you to understand with a quick glance of the total sale of your store, of your restaurant, anything, so that you can take the prompt business decision. And in here I am just taking the sorted titanic underscore train, when I am just passing the one name column. If I am just passing that one, I can see that the whole data set, the titanic data set, the name column, they are passing all the names. Where it is, yeah, this is the titanic data set. In the name I am just passing the name column, so all the name of the customers are they are just giving at once. Here all the traveler names, they are just coming it here. So if you have the same thing, it can be applicable on your hotel dataset. If you have the hotel dataset, if you need to understand that which customers and what is their contact number or the phone number, if you have the column of that kind of the dataset, in such a way, if you pass that name and the phone number, in such a way they will give all your customers name and the contact number, so that you can just give them call if there is any kind of offer is going on, or if you want to see that any customers are the loyal, so you can just call them. So this function through this way, it will help you to understand your business, to increase your business sale. And then we just sorted the names from 0. I'm just passing here sorted function, and within sorted function I'm just passing titanic underscore trend. I'm just passing the name column. I just passed this one in the name column. Within name column I'm passing another condition, that is the 0:6:4. That means the starting name will be there, ending name will be the 5th position, not the 6th. 6th will be excluded, and 4th, the third one is basically, this is the 4th, this is the jump or the step value. What is the jump? You have this kind of the customers, so I am just taking from the 0 till 5th position. I am taking all this one. The 6th is excluded, other is excluded. So from this data set, they are filtering there, they're just taking the first name, adding Mr. Anthony. Then the jump size is 4th, first, second, third, 4th. So they will taking this name, Epsilon. So they will taking the first name and they will taking the Epsilon. Then after that the data set is finished. So if we just run this query 0 is to 6 is to 4. So if I run that query, so they are just giving the Aberdeen and Epsilon. These two names, they are just filtering in such a way. So we can easily understand, we can tell that we can write down different conditions, and by these conditions we can just filter out in those data set. Then again, I'm just write down the Titanic underscore name. I'm just passing the name column, and then I just write down the dot head. By default, everyone knows that by default it will gives the 5 data set. If I need more, if I need suppose the 20 data set, 20 name, first 20 name of the client of the Titanic traveling. So if I just write down this write down 20 and pass inside the head function, then they will give the 20 data set. It starts from 0, it end till 19th. Then I'm just passing that the Titanic underscore trend within 2 square bracket, yellow and purple color square bracket. I'm passing the 2 column name, that is the ticket, and another one is the name. And within this 2 column, I'm passing another condition, that is the 1:5 within yellow color square bracket. That means they will take the first name till 4th name. 5th position is not included. 5th is the excluded position. So they are from the ticket column. From the ticket column, they will take the first position, second, third, and fourth. Till here, they will take the data. They will not included the 5th position. This is things already I described. And now ticket name. Now if I want to add any of the column name, how we can do that? I just pass that this variable Titanic underscore trend, and this within square bracket I am just passing the column name. It may be anything, the column name. I just write down new underscore column. In this column I just try to fill this column by Jan or anything, any apple, banana. If you just write down this one, if I just run that program, basically this will help you to add one column in your raw data set, and that data set will be filled by the Jan. See, in this data set, in the last embarked was the last column. Right now they are just added the column, the new underscore call, this new underscore call in last here, and all the data set will be filled by the Jan. In such a way, if we need any kind of added of the column, we can just add the column with our data set if we need anything. Then after that, I just pass new underscore p class is equal to pd dot categorical Titanic underscore trend. I'm just passing that one column name within purple color square bracket, the p class, and I just run that program, the p class. We can see that these are the class name which is present in the raw data set, and within that data set we can see 1, 2, 3 are the unique value, because in Titanic they already have, I already explained when I just show you on that. Sorry, when I just show you the Titanic dataset, first class, second class, and third class, this total class they are giving here, and last they are just giving you the unique value. This much of class was present in the Titanic ship, first class, second class, and third class. Then Titanic underscore trend, we are just passing that column name embarked. So in embarked column, I just want to check that how many unique value is there. Unique value means that is the not repeated value. If I just write on dot unique, then if I just run that program, we can see there are 3 places from where the customers are embarked on that ship. That is the S, S for Southampton, C for different city, and the Q for different city, and some of the NaN value it was there, the missing value it was there, so that's why they are giving the NaN. So boarded passenger by embarked on SC and Q. Titanic underscore trend the survived. I just passed within square bracket the survived dot value count. How it will help in our program. Dot value count is basically, if I run that program, that we can easily understand in the survived column, the 0 is basically the expired, 1 is basically the survived. So 549 passenger are expired and 1 is basically survived. 342 passenger are survived on that Titanic mishap. So value underscore count, basically they are giving at a glance the total number of expired and total number of survived client of the Titanic ship. Now I have the different column. I have so many columns, but suppose I do not need some of the column. How we can drop that column? It is basically dot drop function is help us to drop that particular column. If we do not need the name, passenger ID, perch, sibling and the ticket, I just pass it within the purple color square bracket and this one, and comma access is equal to 1. That is basically the column wise they will just remove this column name from the data set. If I run that one, then you can see these columns are not present from our data set. Now df underscore n dot group by sex and dot count. So if I suppose I need to count the how many male and a female passenger it was there in the Titanic dataset. How we can do that? Count function basically help us to count that kind of things. And on the group by function, what it actually does, if someone knows the SQL or DBMS part, they already know that group by is basically same type of the things. Same type of the things means in the sex column, in this sex column, we have the two type of the data set. One is the male, another one is the female. So what they are doing, that they are accumulate all the same type of data set. The female, they are accumulate all the female, and the male, all the male, they are accumulate that. Then after that, they are just counting there how many male and female client it was there in the Titanic ship. The 314 client it was there, and the female client, and 577 male client it was there. Now dot mean function. Mean is basically average. So the mean only work in the integer data type. So in this data set, we have some of the column, the sex and the p class, we have some object. Object means string value. So if I just apply dot mean function on that object column, what it will do? It will throws the error. What will be the error? You can see it here. Aggregate function failed. How the mean and data type is equal to object. Aggregate function means dot mean is the aggregate function. Basically it will only work on the integer and the float value. It is not working on the object or the string value. That's why it shows the error. Now if we want to see at a glance according to the plot wise, if we need to understand according to the picture, if we see the picture, we can easily identify that how many persons are male, how many female, how many persons are survived, how many male are the survived or the died. So if we want to see those kind of things according to the pictorial quality or the chart wise, what we can do, that we have to import the matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. So you have to import the matplotlib. If we don't have the matplotlib in our local system, then it will throw your error. So you have to open the terminal, then you have to just write down pip install matplotlib. Then automatically the system will download that matplotlib. Then after downloading that, how we can import that one, we have to write down this line only. Import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. PLT is basically the standardized name. Then we just use a df underscore n dot group by. We just group by the sex column dot count. Then they will just count all the sex, how many male and female is there. They will count separately. Then they are just doing dot plot dot bar. They are using the dot. They are plotting there. Dot plot basically doing the plotting, and dot bar is basically they are giving the bar chart. Then if we just write down the plt dot show, then it if we run the program, then the show function automatically shows this graph. This beautiful graph. After seeing that one, they are just grouped by the sex column, and they are just identify the two side. One is the female side, another one is the male side. And according to that, which color is what, that is already is explained here. Orange is P class, green is age, if red is fair. So red is basically so we can easily understand in here the blue color. Suppose the blue is the survived, so the male is more. By seeing this plot, we can easily understand that rather than female, we can easily understand the male is survived more. So we can easily understand by seeing the chart as well. Now I just pass out df underscore n, then within square bracket yellow color df underscore name underscore n, and we just pass the column name age. We are just giving the one condition here. What is the condition? Condition is basically I'm just passing here the age should be less than 18. So if I want to know that how many youngster it was there in the C, then dot group by, what we do the group by sex, and the P class, sex is basically male and female, and the P class it was their first class, second class and third class. Then dot count, basically dot count is basically help us to count that how many person, how many male and female is there, sex and P class, they are basically doing the group by. They are accumulate all the data. So on the data in the P class you can see 1 2 3. 1 is basically stand for first class, 2 is second class, and 3 is third class. The male also they are identifying the class wise according to first, second, third, and then they will just see the condition. The age should be less than 18. So in less than 18 female, how many female in which class is available, they are just giving the counting here, how many persons survived, and in what is the age group less than 5, they are just counting it here the female. Then they are also counting accordingly the male also, first class, second class, third class, that how many persons are survived and how many age is there, different column they are just calculating by dot count function. Then how we can just take that data set, and I just want to explain about the one new thing in here. I'm just write down here np.random.seed. In earlier in the series 1 of the Python series, I already described the random.randint function basically give you the random number. What is the random number? If I just write down 5 to 100, so machine will give you the different number 8, 10, 11. It will start from 5 and it will end will 100. But if suppose the 10 persons we are working in a company, so if we need the different number, but we want the machine will exactly give the same random number. So in that case, so if we are using the 10 person, we are using the seed the same number 1111, we are using the 1111 number all of 10 people, then in that case all the randomness will be the same of our 10 people in this company. So seed is basically help you with give you the same identification of the logical operations of the all different machine. If we are not using the seed 111 or the 10 or 12 the same number, this number, if we are using the different number of the 10 persons we are working in the same company, so in that case the machine will automatically generate different number. If we are using the same seed number 10 20, seed is equal to 10 20 40, all we are using the same number. Suppose if we are using the 40, all 10% are using the 40 number, so all our randomness will be, all our system will give the same number. And then we are just giving the matrix 5 4 5 will be the row and 4 is the column. Then I am just using the row name will be ABCDE and the column name will be the WXYZ. Then I am just using the pd.dataframe, and I am just taking that matrix 5 by 4 matrix will be there, and the row name I am just passing the row label, this one, and the column heading. So if I just run the program, that you can see this matrix I am passing the 5 4. 5 is basically ABCDE, 5 is row, and WXYZ, this is 4 is the column, 5 by 4. Then the row name ABCDE, you can see the row are the ABCDE and the column name is WXYZ. So this column name used in here. In such a way we can use our own data frame accordingly. Then if suppose I do not need the C row, if I just write down the, if I just use df.drop function, so and I'm just passing the row name, the C within inverted commas, so you can see the C row is missing here. So if I am using df.drop C, comma in place is equal to true, if I am using that in place is equal to true, then in that case what will happen, earlier basically they are not deleting this C, or they are not deleting this C from the original dataset. Right now if I just use the drop C, comma in place is equal to true, so if I do that and if I just run that program, then we can see that C is already missing or already deleted from the original dataset. Now I am just import the pandas as pd and numpy as np. Then I am just taking the one matrix. I am passing what 22 66 140, this one, then 42 70 148, then 32 62 125, then 35 68 160, and 25 62 150, this three number. And I just use the row name. What will be the row name? A B C D E. I am just passing that one. And what will be the column name? Age, height, and weight. And I am just making the one matrix, and this is giving the 2D matrix here. And after that I just want to transfer it in the data frame. How I can transfer it in this matrix to a data frame? I just use the pd.dataframe function, and within this data frame I'm just passing data is equal to matrix data. Then I just pass the index name. That index is row level. This abcd will be the index number, and this column name will be the column heading. So if I just make and run that program, then we can see that this age, height, and weight, that I already used it as a column heading. So they are taking that column heading age, weight, and height. And the row level abcde, these are using as a index number abcde. Then I'm just passing one condition here, the df within square yellow color square bracket. I'm just write down df again. Then I'm just passing one column, that is the height column. If I'm giving the one condition, that is the height should be greater than 5. So if you just run that program, in the height column you can see the 66 70 62 68 62, these values are present here. So in here these are the 66 70 and 68 is greater than 65. In such a way we can just filter these values, we can just take out from there. So guys, thank you so much for watching such a long videos of the series 1 of the pandas, and this one is the series 2. I believe this will help you a lot to enrich your knowledge about the pandas. And in the practical industrial work, when you are just getting the huge data set, this function will really help you to fetch the data, and according to a choice, according to the business need. And if you want to take the data set, the raw data set, and if you want to frame the pictures quality, the pie plot, if you want to draw that one, you can do it by using the pandas as well. I believe this will help you a lot, and thank you so much for watching the PyData's videos. Thanks a lot, and wish you all the best for your data science career. Thank you.